That's the music. That's the show. Welcome into the Inner Circle. Zach Klein, Todd France, Matt Ryan, Aaron Donald. Crazy week in the National Football League. Crazy week where I was at Auburn. Georgia was nuts. Fumble gates, timeout gates. Matt was at the Falcon game. AD, you'll fill us in on an update. Hopefully you had a better performance from the kids' youth football game. Todd's in a car. But hey, we would love to have T France. How's everybody's weekend? We good?
Looks like Todd's was the best. Looks like they were loaded up, little family vacation, little road trip action that he's got going on right there.
Fall break. AD, tell us about your game. Are you proud, or is this something we should skip?
We lost another game, man. So that's two back-to-back games we lost, man. But they play hard. We couldn't do nothing on offense, but the defense played pretty good. So,
sounds like a true defender right there. Sounds like a DC. We played hard, man. We couldn't do nothing on offense. Defense played well, though.
One more regular season game, and then we got playoffs. So, man, we'll be locked in and ready when it's time.
It's like March Madness, dude. Get those losses out of the way before the tournament starts. You're good to go.
Exactly.
Good to go. How about the Falcons last night, though, boys?
Listen, man, I've been calling for this for a while, that I think Bijan Robinson will be the number one running back in the National Football League. You got guys like McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Saquon all in the back nine of their NFL careers, right? I think, Matt, I think it was the coming out party for Bijan on the national stage. 238 total yards, a career best, $170 on the ground. You were there.
Yeah.
What was it like, man, to see this guy, this youngster, just kind of take over and kind of assert himself as one of the best in the league?
I hate to go back to this, but I thought it was you that was asking for a quarterback competition a couple of weeks ago. We need a competition in practice. Sorry, Zach.
He said that.
We won't relitigate that one. My bad. Penix played pretty good.
Bijan.
We're talking Bijan. Yeah.
Yes.
Bijan was awesome last night. And you know what? He's one of those guys that when you watch him in person, it's even more impressive, right? Like on TV, some of the stuff that he does, it's just so incredible. I think we all remember Saquon's like backflip over last year, 360, where he went over that. And you think of like, who are other guys that could possibly do something like that in the league, right? Yeah. Who has the athleticism to be able to do something like that? And Bijan, in my opinion, is one of the guys who comes to mind immediately. But last night, it's like the physicality that he runs with, right? His ability to lower the shoulder, his patience as a runner for a young player, of being able to set blocks up, the vision, the ability to change pace, right? To cruise and then burst and accelerate, his contact balance, the touchdown on the sideline, the 81-yard touchdown. I mean, he made that look so easy where guys are swiping at his feet and he keeps his balance and keeps going.
He was motivated by this show because we called him out. Remember the fine issue? He was going to have the fine because he didn't have that one earlier.
He got tackled at the one. He was getting in the end zone. I'll tell you who got fined last night was Drake London. Drake London got fined at the end of the half, getting tackled and pushed out there at the one. Oh, my gosh. It's that was such a hard position to be in for a player, right? Where you're going like a down timeout situation so they can kick the field goal. But he has this opportunity where it flashes right in frone of him. And if you're going to go rogue, if you're going to go on your own, you have to score.
Yes,
you have to score in that situation. Toe just got dragged out of bounds. But what a night. Bijan, I'm with you, Zach. He's unbelievable. One of the best players in the league. Totally fun to watch. Incredible win for the Falcons. So that was awesome to see.
Matt, I got a question for you. Like, as a quarterback, obviously, young quarterback, having a running back like that alleviate a ton of pressure?
Huge.
Hell yeah.
Like, I think back to my own experience. We had Michael Turner early on in my career, and it was a guy that you could legitimately turn around, hand the football off to, and trust it. I mean, Michael Turner early in my career had multiple performances that were over 200 yards, right? So it looked a lot like what the Falcons did last night against the Bills. And I do think it takes so much pressure, Todd, off of like Michael Penix and the ability to create explosive plays in the run game. But also where Bijan is different is like they use him. My only concern with the Falcons is kind of like San Francisco. It's like, you got to keep this guy healthy. Bijan has to be healthy. He's kind of like CMC in San Francisco because he does so much and they use him so many different ways. And I think that, that's the number one responsibility of the staff right now is being able to balance. How do we use this guy just the right amount? Not too much that we're, running his tires thin. We're keeping the tread just right.
So
but we're also winning games along the way, and they've done a good job with that early on. But to your point, he's huge for Michael Penix.
AD, how would you stop him?
Shit, I run through his damn face. No, no, you got to find a way to bottle him up because he's a guy that you think you can get a clean hit on him, he can make you miss. Right? He got great vision, great cut ability. He's explosive. He looked like he run hard, strong. So he's one of them rounded players that when you game planning for him, you preparing for him, you telling guys, hey, come with it, be ready, bottle them up. Don't think he's gonna go down with one guy. Everybody got to swarm to the ball, man, because he's a playmaker. And right now, I think he's the keys to that offense. I think the offense is running through him in a run game, and obviously in a pass game, he can do a lot, man. So like Matt said, as long as they keep him healthy and they keep playing how they playing, that was a big win for them, big confidence on a primetime stage. So they got to keep it up, man. He looked real good.
AD, does a back like him make it more difficult? Because I think of like different backs in the league, and some guys, it's like if you can stop them before they get into their stride, right, and get them down before they hit their stride, that's one thing. Like that's forever. People have said that about Derrick Henry. The only way to shut Derrick Henry down is to get him before he hits that fifth step.
Yeah.
And then you might have a chance. If he gets that fifth step and he gets downhill, it's over. But like Bijan to me is different from that respect of like, there's multiple runs that happen throughout the course of the game where his feet stop, right? His feet stop in the backfield and he's got the ability to jump cup or bounce into a different hole.
And that's what's different. Cause that's the ones you think you about to get a clean hit on him.
Yeah.
And his vision and his ability to cut in and out so quick, it'll make you look stupid and you think you got him and you missing him, right? And then even in the pass game, he's a mismatch with a linebacker or anybody else. So it's like, it's different ways that even if you bottle him up in the run game, he can still attack you in the pass game and dominate you if you ain't teed up on him the right way. So he's just a problem. He's a problem. He is. I'm happy I ain't got to deal with his ass. So.
After the game, my colleague here in Atlanta, Allison Mastrangelo, had a chance to visit with Penix and asked him what that win on that stage did for this franchise. Take a listen.
Michael, what do you feel like this win showed the league and showed about this team and Atlanta? Because when I was talking with Drake, he said it showed we're actually good and we're going to change the narrative around Falcon football.
For sure. That's it. It showed that we one of them ones. Like this team is really good. This team is really legit.
What do you think? One of the ones, really legit. Did they prove to you guys beating Buffalo? That was the first time all year long that the Bills did not go north of 300 yards in a game. The Falcons, once again, held an opponent under 300 yards every single game to start the season, guys.
You want to take it, AD? You want to start? I don't want to be the homer here.
No, I think it's a confidence booster. I said that. I think, once you play in them big games, definitely a primetime game, and you win those games like that against a good team, right? These are teams you might see in the playoffs and down the road, right, eventually. When you find ways to beat good teams, definitely the way they building up, man, them is confidence booster, and they just got to continue to do that, right? They know that they can do it now, playing against a good team, a top-tier team. You go out there and you show what you can do, man, and now they know they can do it. They got to be consistent with it, but they got the ability to do it.
Yeah, I think the key to what you just said, AD, is you got to continue to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this win is a lot for the Atlanta Falcons is a lot like the New England Patriots win against Buffalo in that Sunday night game, or I think it was a Sunday night game the week before, right, where New England goes on the road. They get up for this game. It's a primetime game. They get up for it. They know they're playing this great opponent, and they deliver, and they get the job done. To me, what tells you a lot about these teams and if they're going to be them, right, if we're one of them, is how you respond to those kind of wins, right, is where you put all of this energy and effort, and you've got this atmosphere that was incredible in the stadium last night. Like, that's an easy one to get up for. Okay, so how do we turn around the next week? And I think they've got San Francisco this week. So how do we turn around and go against the 49ers and deliver that same kind of performance? The consistency, to me, is gonna say a lot about who the Falcons are, because we've seen them play really well, but we've also seen them play really poorly, like against Carolina. So I think how they respond this week is going to say a lot about who the Atlanta Falcons are. But it starts with belief, right? It starts with a game like this. And now it's all about how you respond.
Jeff Ulbrich. What Ulbrich's been able to do.
The defense last night. Yeah, Zach,
picks,
you're saying it.
Fumble.
And they were in Josh's grill the entire night, right?
100%.
You know it, AD. The best way to stop a good quarterback is not coverage.
Yes, you got to get to him.
You got to put him on his back.
They made him uncomfortable. He made some throws that he wish he had back. He was under pressure and having to run around. They kept him bottled up. They did a great job, man. Hats off to them guys, man. They did a great job. A lot better defensive play this week than last week. I know I wanted to see that. Man, it was great defensive play this week in the NFL, man. But that's what I like to
find out your defensive players of the week later on in the show. We got Matt's 2-minute drill. Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. And talking about guys stepping up, Jake Moody, 4 field goals in nasty conditions. The Bears get a huge road win. Is that AD? If your kicker gets 4 field goals and you met him 20 minutes before, is he part of the crew? Is he part of the team now? Like, you show him some love?
Well, he's part of the crew once he signed up, but once he started scoring points and helping us win games, hell yeah. You know, that's an extra boost to the piece. Like offense, defense, and now you got a special piece on special teams that can get it done too, man. That's a confidence booster, man. That's what you need, man. You need everybody to do their part, do their job to be a successful team and win games in this league, man. And when you got a guy that can, hit them field goals when you need to in crunch time to help you win games, man. Because sometimes you got to find ways to win ugly. It ain't always gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna always be perfect. But the main goal at the end of the day is to win games, man. And as long as you got guys doing their job and clutching games like that, man, you can win a lot of football games.
Yeah, I think he gets extra credit too, Zach, right? You mentioned the 4 field goals, but in the weather looked nasty, right? And we could talk about that as we get going, but the weather looked nasty. So you get extra credit for making 4 in bad weather, and then you get extra credit for knocking one through at the end of the game when you need it. At the end of the game. That seals the deal. So
yes,
he had a good game with 4, but he had a really good game because of the weather and the game winner at the end.
You mentioned the weather. I noticed, the key moment late in that game was Jaden Daniels fumbling the snap, fumbling the rock. Yeah. Bears take over, they kick the field goal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you started your career, you did not wear a glove. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you wore one late in your career. Was that due to a bad weather situation where you're like, I get a better grip here? When it was bad weather, did you use a glove? What's your thought process on that? And then another thing I want to ask, how often would you guys practice with wet footballs, slippery footballs?
Yeah. All right, twofold, at least on my end. I started wearing a glove on my left hand. We were playing New Orleans, I think in 2016, down in New Orleans, and something happened to my thumb. My thumb got all screwed up, and it was super swollen or whatever. And so I put this glove on because I couldn't grip with my left thumb. Like I couldn't get a handle on the ball with my left thumb. So I started wearing it because I had hurt my left thumb. And then as it got better, like that season, it was AD. I was playing good, man. So I couldn't take it off. You know what I mean? It was like, this is superstitious, whatever you want to call it. But we were winning. I was playing good. I was like, there's no way this glove is coming off.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Zach, I actually took the glove off later in my career when we played in bad weather because I felt like, and I think a lot of guys will do this, right? I think the gloves almost get slippery. More slippery the wetter it gets, right? So you take it off and the ball's wet, the gloves are wet. It just becomes hard to handle. So I don't think that had anything to do with it. The ball looked soaked, right? I mean, you could see it was a good snap. It just went out and then it slipped right out left part of his hand. But to answer your question about how much do we practice it, like the weeks we knew we were going to play in weather, right? These coaches, for the most part, dot all their I's, cross all their T's. They're ready, right? And so we would do stuff, whether it was in team periods or at the end of practice, where you'd have somebody out there with a water bottle just spraying the ball down right before it gets snapped and just soaked. And then you'd run the play like right after that. So you practice quite a bit. And that was just, I mean, it happens, right? Like sometimes you need the ball to bounce your way. The Bears needed it last night at the end of the game to be able to create that turnover. And that's just part of the rub of it, man. That's part of the rub of sports.
So you're going to New Orleans to play the Saints indoors. You're not practicing during the week with obviously the stuff. It's a waste of time, but you get ready to go to Chicago, for example. The weather could be nasty. You're going to do it in that week.
Correct. Correct. We would practice it during the week, depending on the conditions we were playing in.
There's one guy who might join Todd or Aaron or Matt on a road trip. It's Brian Callahan. Hired from the Tennessee Titans.
He's got some free time.
419 overall guys. 1-5 start. Mike McCoy named their interim head coach. AD and Matt, what does this do to the locker room?
I mean, I'll start. I've been through it twice where head coaches have been fired midseason. I had 2 very, very different situations. One in Atlanta where Dan Quinn was let go and Raheem Morris stepped in. So it's very similar to what Tennessee's going through, right? Where you have a head coach removed and you've got somebody from on the staff come in and pick up where they left off. And I think in that situation, you have the best chance for at least continuity and success. There's typically this 1-week bump. I don't know if you guys have seen it too, but there's like a 1-week bump when you fire a coach. It seems like every team plays really well, the following week, and then it goes back and they kind of revert back to what they were before. But, they're in a tough spot. It's obviously been bad. And we laughed about it a couple of weeks ago with the Cam Ward clip and, saying they were ass, but they have not been very good throughout the season. I think it's tough on the locker room, right? Because it's not like you got 3 games left, right?
It's a long season.
They've got 10 or 11 games left to go, right? That's the majority of your season. So, I think in that locker room, I think if you're a veteran player, AD, right, you're going around to the other guys and being like, listen, I understand the coach is gone. There's going to be new people in this building next year, but like what you put on tape matters. There's still a ton, whether it's going to be here, somewhere else, wherever. If you want to last in this league, this shit matters now.
Because definitely when you're losing, and definitely when your head coach is fired, that's just going to trickle down to the players. They're going to start cleaning the house. So you put the right stuff on film, man. You working for a job for guys that ain't established, and the big money guys or guys that's the first pick of the draft. But sometimes you make changes. It's going to affect some player that was close to them, or it's change, right? But sometimes change is what's best for what you need to do. Definitely when you're losing, that's what happened. That's a part of the league. You got to find ways to win games and be successful, and that's how you get paid and have success. But if you ain't doing that, guys lose jobs. That's a part of it.
I mean, look, on the agent side, when you got a coach that gets fired and then you're dealing with the players, of course you're communicating with your guys. It can unravel fast, and you're going to have a wide variety of emotions with guys. Whether it is a guy who's coming up for a contract or not. At the end of the day, you hit it on the head. Like, they absolutely are playing for something, because they're playing for a new contract. They're playing to a new regime's coming in. They're reevaluating everything. So yeah, you're playing for not only, the pride of yourself and your team, but for the other 31 teams that are looking at you. And then, talking to a player, like, again, if you're talking to an older guy who doesn't want to go through a quote unquote rebuild, there's that conversation with him, because he doesn't want to necessarily stick around for all those years. And then you got to have the conversation when it comes to that stuff, is the grass isn't always greener, right? So you don't know how that's going to go. And so you really got to be strategic. Yeah, you got to be real strategic with the players and go through different scenarios to figure out what you want to do and what you want to accomplish and how you want to get there. But there's definitely those conversations going on my side when a guy gets fired, because it definitely obviously impacts the player, immensely.
And I think from the player's perspective too, like if you're having those conversations with your agent, or I'm talking to you, Todd, I think both of you come to the agreement that whatever it is that you want is only going to happen if you play well.
Yes.
Right? Like the only way you're going to be able to dictate. Yes, the only way you're going to be able to dictate, even on a bad team, is for you individually to play well. And I mean, that might come across as like selfish, that you're not caring about winning or whatever. But in a lot of ways, the reality of the situation when you're on a team that has had a head coach fired and you're in the spot where playoffs are wildly unlikely, right? And so it's about professional pride and individual pride. And then if you do those things, right, then the options, like Todd said, are there in front of you as the season comes to an end.
It's funny you say that. I remember having there was a coach that actually I was close to. I didn't represent him, but just friends with him. And he was a position coach for the Falcons, actually, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And he had gotten fired along with some other people on the staff. And I had him come work with me to learn this side, because I thought maybe he can add value if I had a coach on this side of it and work with the kids going through the combine process and looking at it from a coach's perspective and all that stuff. And he was in my office and listening, and, a couple of days into it, he just sat down and he was just like, I can't be on this side. I was like, what's wrong? He's just like, my whole life as a coach, all I care about is the team. And all I hear you talk about is me as it relates to your players. And it's so individualized. And I was like, yeah, I go, This is a different animal. I go, I don't care. Even when you were coaching, if I was your guy and you were the O-line coach, let's just say, I don't care if y'all lost, 40 to 35. If your team put up 35 points as an offensive, line coach, you did a great job. Your guy was blocking. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like it dictates, like, how does it affect the guy's contract and how does it affect his payday? The winning is like almost gravy from my perspective, other than my players wanting to be happier because they go to the building every day. When you win, the environment's better, the culture is better, that type of stuff. But really, it's about your individual performance. I mean, everyone on the Super Bowl team doesn't win. Wins, but doesn't necessarily get a new contract. So it's how they perform, no doubt about it.
More difficult for the players in the locker room, the shit show in Tennessee or the one that's going on in Miami? Because you have a quarterback. I want to listen to Tua Tagovailoa talk about after the game when they lost again. Listen to this, and I want to get your thought, Matt, as a quarterback. We've talked about him in the past. Like, he talks too much. Great for what I do, great for content, great for the media, but not good for the locker room. Here's Tua after the game.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, There's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things.
It starts with him not telling the world that you had a team meeting. Guys are not showing up to the team meeting, A, or showing up late, B. It got out. How does that affect the locker room? How does it affect the leadership? So many questions I have about QB1 in Miami. Matt, you're the quarterback. Talk to me.
Well,
a lot to unpack.
I think when in his comments, listening to his comments, when you're saying it starts with leadership, that's you.
That's what I'm saying, motherfucker.
Right. And so, I think, listen, I think AD can speak to this too. There's different kinds of players only meetings, right? There's meetings where you have these like full team player meetings because things are bad and you're in there and it's like this reset button that we have to hit. They usually don't work, right? Like I think everybody has talked about it. We come in, we got to change everything. Like, we got to get back to, and you're like, okay. And we've all been a part of them. Listen, I've been a part of those too.
Me too.
That's like one thing. The other thing, and this is the thing I think he's talking about, AD, is like you have position group meetings where it's just as players, right? And so maybe it's the D-line gets together Thursday afternoon after practice or Wednesday after practice or Saturday mornings to go through, whatever tape this is. Like in my experience, a lot of times on Thursday afternoons, tight ends, wide receivers, quarterbacks would meet, right? And we'd go through third down or red zone, and I have guys on the board drawing stuff up, and we'd go through any questions that they might have. And a lot of the times it was just a reference point for me of what do the guys know, what do they don't know? This isn't like an accusatory thing of you should be studying your shit more, or you should be on this more. It was more like, okay, however we've taught this throughout the week, this is not hitting home, so this is on my list of reminders for you during the game. Like, hey, remind Harry Douglas on 3rd and 6 to 10, if we call this play, he's the hot, right? We had struggled to remember that this week. So I think they're very relaxed type meetings, right? And it usually is, at least from my perspective, they've always been, hey, as soon as everybody's showered up, done, stretched out or whatever, when everybody gets in there, we'll go. So it wasn't like it starts at 4:30. It was when everybody's in here, we'll go, because we're all equals, we're all teammates, right? I'm not the coach setting the time for this thing. Inevitably, though, everybody shows up, right? And if somebody did miss, to me, that's nipped in the bud the first time, right? This sounds like it's been an ongoing issue
thing, yes,
for over and over and over and over and over for multiple years. To me, this is what happens when you don't address things at the beginning and get in front of small little issues. They compound and they build and they get to a point where it becomes out of control. And it feels completely out of control there. I thought it was a weird statement from him. And I like Tua. I think he's a nice guy, and I think he has played well at times in this league. I don't understand that from a leadership standpoint.
He said too much. All you got to do is say we got to hold guys more accountable. That's all. Just end it like that. And you don't got to go into details and we set this meeting up, we missed this. It don't seem like the locker room where it need to be. It don't look like it's a tight-knitted group, and you can't win games like that. You cannot. Every team I had success with and I was on and we had a good team and we won games, everybody in the locker room was like this. When you got them conflicts with players and guys don't like being around each other, we suck ass when we played. And I've been on teams like that where just the camaraderie, the guys wasn't all as one, and it showed on the football field. But every team I was with, guys held each other accountable. Everybody cared for each other, had love for each other, and we had success. But it just don't seem like it's that in that locker room right now. Definitely when you after a game, I know you emotional, however the thing, definitely how they lost that game. They should have won it, but again, they didn't. But it goes into that. But I just don't think it's a close-knitted group. And it's starting to show more and more each week. So,
and I think the thing that's lacking too is the open dialogue from both sides, right? Like I always respect it. Say we're having a players meeting or something, right? And I'm like, AD, we're meeting at this time, whatever. After practice, we're gonna go through their blitz package or something like that. Yo, I got treatment. I got to get this done. I've got this, and this. All right, no problem. Hit me tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Right. There's like a flexibility or a follow through or whatever that comes up from both sides of like, hey, I'm a professional, you're a professional. We both got things to do. We're going to meet on that. And it feels like just there's no communication.
That's leadership.
There's no communication.
It's no leadership. It's no leadership, and it's just ain't. It's all
Todd,
over
I want to
the place.
get your thoughts on the image of the quarterback, but I want to follow up one thing with the guys here, because from the outside, it's like, hey, they called a team meeting. So how does that work, Matt? If shit was going down and you wanted to get it together, AD, as the leaders of the group, you mentioned, Matt, like the positions, you'd handle your business then. But if it is a team meeting where we all need to get on the same page and air something out, is it, hey, it's after practice, we're meeting, no coaches? How does that work? And
Just
who
that.
leads it? And
That's
if a
it.
guy's bowing up, it's just that.
That's
usually
it.
the leaders
Hey,
of the team.
that's not good enough. Everybody, we're meeting in the team meeting room 20
Tell
minutes
coach.
from now, right?
And we have a
You're gonna
team
be in there.
meeting, just the
Coaches are
players.
out.
Yeah, yep. And that's it. It's that simple. No extra.
Like, this is my thing. We're really simple people. Players are simple.
Is the point of no coaches just so it's completely unfiltered and you're not worried about saying something in front of a coach? Or you can bash a coach if you
That
need
is
to?
just the players. Like coaches coach, players play, right? It's the guys you're going to battle with, you on the field with. This ain't got nothing to do with the coaches. This is the leadership's calling this meeting. This is the leaders want to get everybody together. Whatever the problem is, we talk about it, get everything together, get everybody on the same page, but it ain't got nothing to do with the coaches. This is got everything to do with leadership, trying to get everything back on track as a team, as the guys that's going to war with on the fucking football field. That's what it come down to.
AD and Matt, did you guys,
Absolutely.
when you guys played, I know there's a lot of teams that have like every team is different, right? They have captains, whatever, but then sometimes teams have these leadership committees where there is a committee, a group of people that are on this leadership team. Did you guys have that when you played on yours? And what do you think of that concept?
We had them pretty much my entire career. Every coach that I played for had some kind of, they were different in size, right? Some were a little bigger than others, but they ranged from anywhere from 4 to 5 guys to 10 or 11, 12. But we had them really in every group, every team that I was a part of. It was different in how often we met. Sometimes we met weekly. Sometimes we met, once a month. Sometimes we met as needed, you know.
Yes, exactly.
And it was usually, in our case, AD, probably similar for you. It was just the head coach and those 10 or 12 guys.
Yep,
And
that's exactly what it was.
in a lot of ways, those were just, hey, here's where I see where we're at. This isn't like, we got to have more run plays, or like, this is like big picture stuff. I see where we're at. I just, and in my case, I think coaches a lot of time were asking for feedback too. Like, what is the vibe in the locker room? Where are guys at? Like, how are we feeling? How about you, AD?
That's exactly what it was. Anytime we had it was like the captains and the veteran guys that was the leaders of the team, head coach. And it's just that, asking questions. How's the locker room? What can I do? What you feel like we need to do better as a team? Like, it's just stuff like that you just talking to your leadership, trying to get a feel for the team, a feel for the vibe, so y'all can continue to, get to a certain level. So that's exactly what it was.
Hey, Todd, based on your experience when it comes to GMs and ownership, when the coach and the quarterback appear to be out of sync, what do you think those conversations are like?
Well, first of all, the comments that we're talking about, I would love to know is, like, you have to know is, how was the quarterback viewed before he made those comments? What kind of respect did he have across the board with his team, before any of that happened? Number one. Number two, there's a difference in some basic quarterback doing it as opposed to Tom Brady doing it, right? Tom Brady had the utmost respect. So if he comes out on the podium and says something, maybe he has a little more runway and more leeway to do that with that. In terms of being on the same page with your coach and that, all that, I would think a GM is, everyone's going to have their own style, but I think it's anything for any type of leadership. You're going to bring people together and work it out and air it out, because it's too early in the season. You got a player who's under contract for many more years. So you've got to kind of figure that all out and make sure everyone's on the same page, because it's not going to get any better. And I think everyone needs to be telling them what they're thinking, and then that, and just go from there. So I think any GM, but again, I also will tell you that the situation also depends on the GM and the stability of the GM. And if you're dealing with an organization where everybody's on the hot seat, that's just a tough situation, because you got everyone looking out for themselves as opposed to looking out for the bigger picture. And there's a lot of finger pointing, and that's where things just start to quickly unravel.
And I'll just finish with this, Zach, and we could put a bow on this topic. But like, I have seen coaches use the media to get to their players in effective manners. Like, I have seen that, right? Where they put the message out there that we need to play hard, we need to do this, and the team responds. I have not seen players call out other players in the media and then seen success from that, right? Like, I think those things player to player are done better face to face and behind closed doors. I think there's, when you go player to player and you're attacking in the media, like, you've lost that level of the locker room is our sacred spot. And it's different when it comes from a head coach to a player than it is when a player does that publicly.
Here we go. We got one individual calling on his teammates for missing practice, and you have another individual basically blasting a rival GM. We need to get Mike Tomlin on the show, guys. He just keeps it real. He says what's on his mind, and he slams the Browns for trading Joe Flacco to the Bengals. So I want you to help me understand this. The Bengals make this surprising trade by acquiring quarterback Joe Flacco for a 6th-round pick in exchange for a 5th round. Why do the Bengals want a new starting quarterback who's 40? And then why do the Browns help out a rival by giving them their former starting quarterback? Help me understand this. But first, we're going to hear from Tomlin just slamming the Browns.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us because it doesn't make sense to me. To trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
He's right. I don't get it.
It don't.
AD, put on your GM hat here. What are you doing?
I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. It don't make sense, right? I understand. I know the Bengals needed somebody to keep them afloat while Joe Burrow's down, but you don't help a divisional team, have success with it. I don't know. I'm speechless. I don't know what you got to that, Matt, or what your thoughts on that, but it don't make sense to me.
I think Mike Tomlin, I agree with Mike T.
Yeah.
I agree with Mike T. I mean, I guess it comes down to compensation, right, Todd? In that kind of situation, if you're Andrew Berry, do you feel like the help that you're giving, the compensation's worth it? But what was the compensation?
Exactly. It didn't make sense from a business standpoint either.
Cleveland Browns get Flacco for a 6th-round pick in exchange for a 5th rounder. So, Todd, help me make sense of this.
So we switched rounds.
Yes, basically.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and second guess the GM and what their vision is and what their strategy is. Obviously, Andrew Berry is a very bright guy, and I'm assuming they have a plan. I do know that, if I'm the agent for Flacco or in that type of a situation, I'm actually happy that we're moving on because it's a tough situation. If you got a team that's not winning, or is going to potentially struggle and be inconsistent all year. As an older quarterback, why do I want to be there every week when they're saying, what about Dylan Gabriel? What about Shedeur Sanders? Let's put these guys in. I'd rather move to a team where they're desperate because their veteran quarterback is out. They felt like they had a team to win. They had all the pieces around the quarterback. All they need is a quarterback, not necessarily to win games, but definitely not to lose games. I'd much rather go there. I think it's a great call and a great situation for him. And I can't speak to why they did or didn't do it, but maybe in the Cleveland's eyes, they don't think they're going to be necessarily a contender. So they're trying to, acquire any pieces that they can get in terms of compensation to have more picks and continue to build the team. I don't know other than that.
I mean,
so they're giving up. So they just giving up.
To me, it feels like
they're
I'm
giving
not going
up.
to say you can't say they're giving up because they
won
still
They won in 5.
Okay, maybe they're
giving out a division opponent.
No, but I think I think what they're trying to do is also see what do they have in their young quarterbacks. If we're not going to win all the time, and so again, that's possibly why now in division and all that type of stuff. Maybe that's
the part I don't get.
That's the thing.
Well, maybe it's.
I'm okay with playing Dylan Gabriel or eventually seeing what you have in Shedeur or whatever that is.
Play devil's advocate. If they're out of it, they don't really care if it's in division or not. It's not like they're gonna. It's like they're giving it to someone who's going to come back and bite them in the butt.
I don't know though, man. Like if you're in that division long enough, AD, you don't want to give anybody to the Niners if you're out of it, or like I don't want to give anybody to the Saints.
Don't help them at all
because we're out of it. That's not happening.
That's the thing.
It's not
that's
happening.
What you don't understand. It's like that's a rival. You play these teams twice a year. It's a little hate on the field. It's a little hate towards that team. You don't help that damn team out.
Just imagine
Works both
if they do
ways.
go on a run, if they do have something special, if they package something else and make a run.
I mean, only thing is like maybe Andrew Berry looks at the Cincinnati Bengals and he's like, they're not going anywhere either, right? Neither of us are going anyway. Can we establish a little bit of an edge in terms of where we draft for the next draft? Because Joe Flacco is not coming back here next year either.
I can assure you there's a method to his madness, and I don't know what it is, and none of us do, and it's easy to second guess. The other thing is like as an agent, when a player's getting traded, sometimes a team will tell you in advance we're doing this, and sometimes they don't. It really depends on the relationship with the agent.
Exactly. Yeah.
If a GM has a relationship with you, and or you as an agent have the foresight to kind of recognize this could be something that comes down, you need to be talking to the GM and letting him know in advance, hey, if you're shipping my guy or you're talking and you're shopping him, you got to let me know and let's work together. The reason teams don't want to do that is because they're afraid if that doesn't happen and you told your player that they're trying to trade him, players are players. It's a pride thing, right? And all of a sudden they're worrying about how that can backfire on them if that doesn't happen. But a smart agent can and a good agent will be proactive with that with the teams and make sure that you're in the know on that.
Earlier this season, guys, on the Inner Circle podcast, we talked about revenge games and if it played in any impact into former opponents on the field, or former teammates rather. But how about Rico Dowdle? This is what he said leading up to his current game, his current team with the Carolina Panthers playing his former team, the Dallas Cowboys.
It's kind of like a message.
Oh, for sure. They got to buckle up. I think they know for sure.
Rico, if your message last week was buckle up to the Cowboys, what's your message after the game?
They weren't buckled up.
Well, they had 200 on their ass, huh? Yeah, they told them. I got something for y'all. Y'all want to get rid of me?
Tried to let you know.
Okay.
183 yards, 30 carries, 56 receiving yards. I mean, he talked some smack and he backed it up. Dallas did not. They let him go, hit free agency, AD and Matt, and then he signs a 1 year, $2.5 million deal. Give it up to the Carolina Panthers.
I think the defense was all right, played decent, but still, I feel like with the Cowboys, Dak could score 1 million points, but if they don't outscore somebody, right now they don't got a chance of winning, right? The defense can't stop the run game, not consistent in the pass rush, so, they got some things they need to clean up. I think, I don't want to say something about leadership on the defense, but who's the guy that's going to bring everybody together to make sure? That's what I'm saying, man.
He's in Green Bay.
You know what I mean? So it shows, though. It really do shows Minnesota. They just need to get some things buttoned up because, man, if that can't outscore somebody, right now the Cowboys ain't got a chance to win no game.
Do you think Dak feels that he needs to play perfect?
Yeah, hell yeah, he does. They scored on 8 of their last 9 possessions.
Correct. Dallas drives after the 9:08 mark in the first quarter, went field goal, touchdown, 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 field goal, punt, and they lose.
Usually that usually works.
Right.
And, does he feel like you have to be perfect? Yeah. That's not an excuse. That doesn't change the way you compete or let you take your foot off the gas. That's the reality of the situation for the Cowboys.
Yes.
Like, forget about how we're feeling. That is what he has to be for them to win, right? They've got to score. They needed to score on 9 out of the last 9 possessions, not 8, right? And maybe one of those 8, instead of a field goal, has to be a touchdown. So now you're not only talking about having to score every time you touch it, you're talking about, scoring every time you touch it isn't good enough. It's got to be touchdowns. It's got to be touchdowns almost every time you touch it. And that becomes increasingly difficult. But, Dak's doing it. Dak's playing good. He's playing really well. And they're just falling a little bit short. But shout out to Rico, man. That was a big performance this week. That's 2 weeks in a row, though, that he's come out and he's
consistent.
Balled.
Consistency. Yeah. Consistent. I like it.
AD, if you're on that Dallas defense, are you saying anything to the offense? Like, hey, man, my bad. We're going to get there. Don't worry. Keep doing your thing. I mean, we're a team, but I feel for you.
I'm not a rah-rah guy. I'm going to speak when I got to speak. I'm a lead by example guy. So if my defense ain't doing what we need to do, maybe that's something on my role. I got to do more to be more successful to try to help my team to make plays. That's on the field, on a practice field, the film room, the weight room, whatever it is. I lead by example. So, once you tend to do things the right way, obviously what you translate, the body work you put on usually translate to what you do on the field. And you typically, guys around you usually gravitate to that. And I don't think Dallas defense got that right now. And they just lacking it. They lacking leadership. They're all over the place, man. And it's hard to win games like that. Right now, it's like you typically on the defense, you want to say, hey, we ain't letting them get no damn touchdowns at all. No field goals, no nothing. This team, you happy if you can stop them and just give up a field goal with that defense right now. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Hold them to 3.
I was going to say to you, Zach, I think words matter if it's like an outlier, right? If you're having a bad game as a defense, but you're a good defense, right? Words matter to the opposite side of the ball where you come over and you're like, hey, man, I know we're going to get a stop right here, right? When you're getting just gashed every time.
Actions speak louder than words.
100%. Just go do it. Right. And I think the same is when you're struggling, I've been on offenses where, we're struggling. And that's, week after week after week, your words fall on deaf ears when you just keep coming out we just got to do it. You got to get one, right?
Because it's one of the first things that we will say when we go into the locker room after the game. If it's a 10-3 final and you're going up to the defense, hey, man, you gave up 10 points. How frustrating is it out there that the offense couldn't convert in the red zone, whatever. And, they usually say the politically correct thing, but it's got to be tough if it's time and time again, if you're giving up few points. But to your point, Matt, when you're giving up 30, 27, 33, you should prove it to me. So I don't even have you come over to my son. Just show it.
Like,
to me, right?
Just show me. Just
hearing you talking, saying I'm gonna do this and do that. That's okay. That sounds good. Why don't you show me that? Go on the field and you do that, and then we can talk right now. But words and shit, actions speak louder than words. That's why I say lead by example always.
You got Baker and the Bucks 5-1. His old team, the Browns, 1-5. You got Daniel Jones and the Colts 5-1. His old team, the Giants, 2-4. You got Sam Darnold and the Seahawks 4-2, and you got his old team, the Jets, 0-6. Todd, I'll start with you. Do you think teams in general are giving up on quarterbacks too early?
Ew, 0-6.
I'm never going to second guess a coach and the GM and all that stuff, but I will tell you situations matter 1,000%. Would I rather have a guy get drafted a little bit lower to a better situation as opposed to a little bit higher and not have the pieces around him? All day, for sure. Because if you get with the right situation, whether that be a stable front office, whether that be a good coach, whether that be the pieces around you, if you're a quarterback, O-line, receivers, whatever it may be, those things are going to have a heck of a lot more impact and a lot more direct impact on your success. I'd rather have that all day long. I'll never forget back in the day. I'll give you an example. I remember DeJuan Landry ends up going to, fifth round, supposed to go a little bit higher, ends up going fifth round, but to the Baltimore Ravens defense with Ray Lewis and playing next to Ed Reed and all that stuff. And he crushed it. And 4 years later, he got paid in free agency and a monster deal. And yeah, it wasn't where he wanted to go, but situation, stepped in as a day one starter next to all those guys. I mean, Siragusa up front and all that stuff. I mean, it was ridiculous. And yeah, he got paid for it. So I'd much rather do that than end up going earlier into a situation where you're not contributing or you don't have the pieces around you.
Yeah, and to keep going on the situation, I mean, two of those three teams that you mentioned, right? Baker with the Bucks now balling, the Browns struggling. Sam Darnold balling with the Seahawks, the Jets struggling. What do the Browns and the Jets have in common? Every quarterback they draft doesn't pan out. Yeah. Right. And so it's partly these organizations too, like to the point of, are we getting rid of quarterbacks too quickly? Well, each case is different. Each situation is different. The one constant, at least in this conversation with these teams, is that the Browns have continued to screw that up for the last 25, 30 years. The Jets have done the exact same thing, right? Like it's not for a lack of trying.
Don't you think there's a huge sensitivity when you pick a top quarterback? When you're picking the number one pick, there's a big sensitivity. And you can go back and look at the last 4 number one quarterback picks, all fire their coach within the first year. And that quarterback surely had impact. I'm sorry, that those coaches had an impact on who they were drafting. I mean, Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer, I can't remember all the coaches, but Caleb Williams, Cam Ward now, Bryce Young, all of those, I think, are the last 4 quarterbacks, and all their coaches got fired in the first year. I think the leash is short.
Yeah, but in defense of that, if you look at it right now, I would say Caleb Williams looks pretty good.
Yeah, he's playing
Year
good ball.
2, the quarterback looks pretty good with a new head coach. I would say the same for Bryce Young right now at 3-3. Has Bryce been perfect? No.
He's playing better.
But they did fire the coach and then moved on and stabilized it with the quarterback. They haven't done either of those things with the Browns or the Jets in this century. Right. And so I think there's something too, right? Like I work for CBS now. I go to New York. We have a lot of guys that are behind the scenes at CBS that are massive, massive Jets fans. Right. And the running joke is that when you come to the Jets, you lose all your football superpowers and they magically reappear when you go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
Or whatever. 6. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to me that it's those two organizations that those guys didn't work out in. But you're right, Todd. It is staggering to see, last 4 quarterbacks taken with that number 1 overall pick, coach being fired and moved on, but they hung on to the quarterbacks in those places, right? Like Trevor Lawrence, it's taken 3 different head coaches up until this point, but it looks like they're getting it right. And it looks like they're headed in the right direction. I think Caleb Williams is a great example though of, and Todd, you could probably speak to this better because you deal with GMs all the time, but knowing that we might have the piece, this guy, the player might be the piece, but this is not the coach. No matter how we felt about it, how we came to the decision, this is not the right way to build this around him. And being able to make that difficult decision and then move on if you do feel like there's somebody waiting in the wings that you can get that's going to be that guy.
I mean, it just shows the situation matters, right? It's not just the individual play. It's the coach, it's the front office, it's the scheme, it's the talent, all of that. And so, yes, as an agent, you want your player going to a good organization that has all those types of pieces, no matter whether it's a quarterback or any player. You want that stability and you want a good program, because that's where you have your best chance for your guy to thrive.
I do have a listener question, Matt. This came from Adam, and he said he loved your breakdown of the play when you called it in the huddle. So if you can just give us a simple play, and then I'll follow up with this question. So please give us a play.
Okay. I can't remember what I said last week. They all run together, but it doesn't matter. All right, let's go. West right zoom, Z right, 19 Wanda can, 18 Zap.
Okay, West right zoom is all I picked up. His question was, in the huddle, if you can break down what West zoom right, whatever it was, who's listening to what?
Yeah, so West right zoom is the formation, right? And so West is talking to typically teams have an X, a Y, a Z, whether it's an F or however they tag the F is different in systems, but they have an X, a Y, an F, a Z, and an H. And the personnel grouping come in. The personnel would tell you what type of player the F is. Okay. So in this case, we'd be in 12 personnel. 12 personnel tells us there's 2 wide receivers out on the field, 2 tight ends, and 1 running back. So the 1 stands for how many running backs are in the game. The 2 stands for how many tight ends are in the game. So that's 12. 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. So when we're in West right, the West tells the Y and the F that they're lined up on the right side and they're attached to the tackle. So it'd be the Y right next to the right tackle, the F just outside off the ball, outside of the Y. Zoom talks to the wide receivers. That tells them instead of X being on the left, Z being on the right, or to the strength or weakness call, we're going to come over and we're going to go Z over to slot, Z-O, zoom. So West right zoom tells the tight ends and the wide receivers where to line up. It puts them in this set. Z right is the motion. So West right zoom, Z right. We start with the Z over on the left side. He's going to motion to the right. That part of the play call talks to the wide receivers and the tight ends. 19 Wanda. So it's West right zoom, Z right, 19 Wanda. 19 Wanda is basically saying that we're running zone scheme to the left, 9 being the odd number, outside. So the holes go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 on the left side, 2, 4, 6, 8 on the right side, right? And so 4, 6, 8 on the right side. And so 19, meaning it's 1 back, 1, 19, 1 back to the left to the outside, 19 Wanda. Wanda means zone scheme in that scheme. Can, 18 Zap, which is can, the 1 back run going to the 8 hole to the right side, and Zap is the combination block for the tight ends. So each little part, right? The first part, West right zoom talks to wide receivers. 19 Wanda can, 18 Zap talks to everybody. Primarily, it's talking to 19 Wanda can, 18 Zap is talking to the offensive line, the blockers, right? And so each part is broken down, and that's just a simple run play. In the pass game, it gets more complicated and a little bit more complicated, but it's really simple. Bits and pieces. The only person that really needs to know all of it is the quarterback. So there's little bits and pieces that are applied to every position.
That's fascinating. And it always goes in the same cadence. So the first part lets the tight ends and the running backs and the line know. So you always know kind of what part of the sequence you have to tune into.
In the run game, it goes formation, run play. In the pass game, it goes formation, protection, run play. So like in the pass, say we were running a pass play from that formation, West right zoom, Z right. Pass 18 sifter, Z drift, X field post. So that would be like West right zoom, Z right. Pass 18 sifter, Z drift, X field post. Just Z drift and X field post talks to a wide receiver on what the route combination is. Pass 18 sifter would be what the protection is for that play. The play action, hard outside sell to the right, tells everybody what their responsibility is. So in the run game, it's formation, run play. In the pass game, it's formation, protection, run, and then route concepts.
What are you doing on the snap when you're actually out of the huddle? And AD, what are you picking up on all that stuff when he's changing things? And what are you saying on the snap when you're behind the center?
So typically you come out and you'd set wherever everything is in numbers, right? We used to have coaches that would say, if you can count, you can play, right? And so it sounds really complicated, but it all becomes numbers off of wherever your point is. And so you've seen probably clips of guys pointing out the mic, right? Hey, Mike's 54, Mike's 54. And all that means is, hey, all of our counts, right, are starting, whether it's in the run game or the pass game, pass protection. All of our counts for who we're accounting for start off of that guy. So if we're running to the left, 19 Wanda, and I point right at Zach and I say, Zach's the mic. How we're double teaming to those guys starts with Zach, right? So he would be 1, and then we're going to count to 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, right? That just, it starts the identification portion of how we're counting out where we're going to, right? And it puts everybody on the right track to be successful. I mean, that's all you're doing, right? You get up there, hey, 54 is a mic, Blue Eddie said, hut, boom, go.
And AD, you see ball, get ball. That's what it is in your call?
Hell yeah, but you line, obviously, through the week, you prepare, you know different formations and what they line up in, your 21s, your 22s, your 12s, your 11s, your 10s, and you kind of got a feel for what they typically run out of them formations to kind of give you a head on that. But you know, the D coordinator call what he called, just give me my shit. If it's a slant, if I got to do movement or whatever, however my alignment's got to be for me to be the most successful or whatever it is on first, second down, and then third down, right? You pin your ears back.
We kid with AD, it's so simple, but these guys are so smart on that side too. You start calling out stances of guards, alignment, where their eyes are, right? And so, like, you can hear them talking. Like, I've heard AD be like, he's pulling. Yeah. And you would know he's pulling off of the way he's standing in his stance, right?
But that's all through your study through the week, right? You're trying to find tendencies from your offensive linemen, from different personnel that's in. And so you give yourself an upper hand so you can play a lot faster, right? You see things and you just get a feel for it. Like you want to pick up an offensive lineman's weaknesses and his set in the run game, pass game, the way if he's in a pass game, is he an oversetter? Is he a deep setter? Is he a short setter? So is he a two-hand puncher? Is he a low-hand guy? Is he a rapper? And you note that down and you practice your moves you're gonna be working through the week. Okay, he's a low-hand guy. No, I got my chop club. He's a two-hand puncher. I'm gonna swipe. He don't have an anchor, so I'm gonna work more power rushes off him, right? He don't got good feet, so I can do more stutter moves and shit like that. Or he don't good, or he might be solid, but he's not great at picking up games, so you run different games on him. So it all depends on your study through the week to get yourself an upper hand when it come game time, right? Because the more you know, the faster you can play.
This makes a lot of sense why Zach and I were just more into flag football.
I was going to say there was nothing worse, though, than as a quarterback when you line up and you hear somebody like AD on the other side be like, hey, he's pulling right here. And you're like, shit, we are. He's right.
I love playing against them big-ass guards that got to be on their heels.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot the shit out this guy. Boom.
We used to go against Luke Kuechly all the time in Carolina, and he was like one of the best in the league at being able to identify what you were running. And so many times I'd be up there, can, and he'd be like, weak inside zone right here. And you're like, oh my God, he's right. He's right. All right.
We got to practice your cadence? Like, you know,
yeah. Because
that's
trying to as much as you can.
Right. Because that could you that I mean, if you're gonna get the AD off his game, if he knows, or Kuechly, if they know it's coming, you can maybe try to get a false start or something that's relevant based on cadence.
That's right. You got to keep him off balance as much as you can.
A few minutes left here on the Inner Circle Pod. We got AD's Players of the Week. We got a 2-minute drill, and then we're gonna bounce. But I want to have you guys listen to this. I thought this was great. We had Tez Johnson for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is a 7th-round pick out of Oregon. He had his first career touchdown, which is a 45-yard bomb from Baker Mayfield. And here's Tez after the game. Take a listen. Shout out Tez, man. A good funny moment post-game locker room saying he MVP chance, and he thought it was him.
It's so good. That tells you where every athlete's mindset is at, right? You make one good play. Yeah, that's right. I am the MVP, man.
And shout out,
a hell of a catch.
First one.
Shout out to Baker Mayfield, man. He's playing some top-tier ball right now. A lot of confidence, man. Making a lot of plays, man. So I'm tipped off to him, man. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up. Just don't keep it up when you play the Rams. Play horrible when you play for the Rams. Play like shit. So it was a lot of good defense played this week, man. A lot of good defense overall. I think the Rams defense played good. Hammond, 17 tackles. He got the single game franchise record for the Rams. B.Y. Byron Young, he got 8 tackles, 2 sacks. That's 7.5 sacks on the season. He's number 2 and leading the NFL in sacks behind. First had another sack for his fumble. I think that defense played good. I think the Rams offense was, moving a little slow, but the defense kept feeding the ball, giving them opportunities, and they found the way to win a game on the road. We talked about sometimes you got to find a way to win them ugly games, definitely on the road, man. It's hard to win on the road. So hats off to that defense, to the Rams for doing that, man. The Steelers defense played some good ball, man. Nick Herbig, he had 2 sacks. He was rushing his ass off. And my dog, Jalen Ramsey, 6 tackles, 2 sacks.
2 sacks.
I know he was banged up this week, had some injuries, found the way to get himself healthy and go out there and dominate, man. He's playing some good football. That defense is playing some good football. The Steelers look good, man. And Denver's defense for a second week, You know, they dominated last week and showed out again this week. Pat Surtain and them guys, they got 9 sacks as a defense. They was flying around, and 6 sacks came in the second half, and about 5 of those came in the fourth quarter, right? Jonathan Cooper had two of them sacks. He had a day, man. So I think that defense is playing real good football, playing consistent, good football week in and week out. So keep it up. But this week for me, my number one guy is Devin White with the Raiders, LB, man. 9 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, interception. You know, been doing it for a long time, still playing at a high level, man. So Devin White, man, clap it up for him. What a day, big dog. Keep it up, OG. Keep it up, keep it up. Well, there was a lot of good defensive play this week, man. Lot to choose and pick from, man. So I had to just, choose and pick a few, man. But a lot better defense play this week in the NFL, man. So keep it up.
Good stuff. Devin White, AD's Player of the Week, representing for the Raiders. So.
All right, let's hit it. Let me get the clock started. Stopwatch is going. All right, here we go. Ready? It's on.
Let's do it.
All right, AD, I'll start with you. Baseball fan. Dodgers taking on the Brewers in the playoffs, NLCS right now. Are you a Dodgers fan in baseball, or are you a Pirates fan growing up in Pittsburgh?
I'm both.
Both.
I watched some Pirates game, but I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm a Mookie guy. Mookie's my dog, so I'm cheering for the Dodgers right now, and they're going to get it done, man.
Okay, 2 teams in the NL. That's interesting. I don't know many fans that are fans of 2 teams in the NL, but I'll take it. It's all right. All right, Zach, you're up. Top CC road venue. You were on the road this week at Auburn. You've been around the league. We got to take Georgia out of this, right? Take Athens out of it. What is the top road venue in the SEC that you've been to?
Auburn was impressive. 90,000 strong. You see the Eagle fly around the stadium at night with the lights off, land at midfield to get him going. That was impressive. But to be fair, that's run right there, Matt. They're all crazy. And I have not been to LSU at night. So next year when Georgia plays in Baton Rouge, I hope to get there. It's a long way saying right now it's Auburn or A&M, which has been crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting to go to Baton Rouge.
Okay. To be determined. But right now, Auburn's the leader in the clubhouse. All right, AD. Penn State was in the news this week. James Franklin getting fired. I am curious. We're talking about fandom here and teams that you don't like. As a Pittsburgh alum, do we dislike Penn State more than we dislike West Virginia?
Oh, no. See, for me, West Virginia, that's a true hate. I don't like Penn State.
That's true hate.
But I hate West Virginia.
All right, so it's West Virginia's number 1.
Yes, for sure. Hands down.
I got it. All right, Zach, we just talked about road venues in the SEC. Outside of Mercedes-Benz and Atlanta, what is your favorite NFL venue that you've been to on the road?
You know, we've talked about Green Bay when it's snowing, whole time Chicago, where I'm from. The Saints are crazy because it's a fun place to visit. If I had to go one, I'd probably go Lambeau.
Lambeau.
Yeah,
Lambeau's a good one.
You were there. You were on the field. Is that for you? Was that up there? What do you?
Yeah,
what
thanks,
do you guys,
man. I love Lambeau. We're over now. It's 2:08. Okay. We hit it. But I'm going to say, just to follow up on that, my favorite venue to play at in the NFL was Lambeau. It's just it feels different. You know, it feels more like college when you go play there. How about you, AD?
I hate Lambeau. I never won in Lambeau, so every time I went, I got bad experiences there, man. I only
won there once, but I was a rookie.
But at least you won. Shit, I ain't never won in Lambeau. So I don't know. What was my favorite? I don't know. I think the loudest stadium I've been in was NFC Championship in New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans loud, man. Yes.
I'm talking about it was so loud. It felt like my head was doing this on them. I'm like, why the hell are they yelling so damn loud, man? But that was a loud stadium.
The loudest thing I've heard in the NFL was the final game ever at the Georgia Dome, NFC Championship game. Matt was on fire, and that place was rocking. So good stuff right there. What are we looking forward to, gentlemen, for the week?
I'm looking forward. We got flag football. We got our first. We were talking about AD as a coach earlier. You know, they're dropping 2. We're on a win streak here. All right, we were 0-4. We're now 1-4. We played Thursday night. We're trying to get to 2-4. We're heading in the right direction. We're trending. I'm looking forward to getting win number 2 on Thursday night.
We trying to get back on track with my team, man. We got to get back on track. We just lost 2 straight, so getting back on track and getting ready for the playoffs, man. That's what we got to do this week. So
I'm looking forward to see if the Falcons can duplicate what they did against Buffalo as they are on Sunday Night Football against 49ers. I want to see if they can represent on the road, West Coast trip. Todd, what are you looking forward to this weekend besides you guys being healthy?
Being in my office and doing this podcast
there
next
you had
week.
It. Todd said he's looking forward to getting on the private jet and getting some Wi-Fi and taking this show on the road. Todd, thank you very much. Good stuff, T-Friends. AD, Matt, good luck to your guys. Let's see if we can have a happy back-to-back AD, Matt Ryan, youth football.
Let's go.
There we go.
Video. Can you guys, I'd like to, I guess we got to show these guys some love. I mean,
NYO Falcons. We'll get some video for you, Zach. Don't worry.
I want some video. I want the youth. I don't want you to see you guys in the headsets on the sidelines calling some plays and And AD, do me a favor. Win or lose, AD, win or lose. You'll shake their hands after the game.
I'm a sore loser, man. No.
Aaron Donald, Matt Ryan, Todd France. Much love, guys. Enjoy the week. We'll see you next time in the Inner Circle.